Hello everyone and welcome to this video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at Neoverse for the PC. The game was developed and published by Tino Games Inc. and was released on the PC in 2020. The game is an RPG tactical card stacking type game and it's rather addictive but also extremely hard to master. So without further ado, here's more details about the game in the review. Honestly, I'm not really sure what the hell the plot is meant to be on this one. The game itself doesn't want to explain anything to you about what's happening or what's going on, and the game never really gives you any type of backstory to the events which transpired within the game itself. Nor do you get any type of cutscene with the game's characters interacting with anyone at all. So it is a complete mystery as to what this game's plot actually is. But that doesn't really affect the game too much, and it shouldn't really affect your level of enjoyment out of it. A plot does seem to be missing within this game, but the game is so much fun that really you shouldn't notice too much. The game gives you a choice of 3 characters to select. You have Naya, who when you look at her you just simply think Ghost in the Shell. She'll use her swords and gun when in combat, and her cards mostly consist of either attack with her weapons, radioactive attacks, or buff or debuff cards. Claire is more of a defense type character, but also an extremely hard heavy hitter. Her cards will allow her to heal through vampirism, which then steals HP from other characters, or she can use a more defensive type focus and use cards which either buff her out or debuffs other characters, leaving them vulnerable to a singular heavy attack. Helena is a summoner who can call other creatures to her aid when in battle, and these all consist of either a dragon, a lion, or a griffin. I found Helena the more difficult of the 3 to master personally, because I found her rather weak at first. However, I have seen other players out there turn her into an absolute beast, who can practically kill everything within one single hit. The gameplay for Neoverse is a mixture of RPG, action, tactics, deck building and strategy. The game is quite fun but also extremely hard to master, especially if you have never played these type of games before. You'll start off with something simple to give you the basics on how the cards work, and then you'll need to figure out which one is best to use when in what order you're going to use against what characters you'll face against. Things do start off simple enough, but by the time you face the game's first level boss, you're going to be dying quite a lot, unless you're a very good fast learner. The gameplay is also randomised each time you play, meaning that just because you faced one type of boss the first time around, don't go into level 1 thinking that you're going to be facing the exact same boss the second time that you play it. Neoverse uses the Unity engine to create everything in the world that you see around you, and the game does a beautiful job of creating the environments, the characters, and the enemies, and everything else which you'll see. Everything looks professional, well made and designed, and runs all quite smoothly. And this is really something quite impressive when you realise that only around 4 to 5 people worked on creating this game's graphics and creating everything from scratch. So whilst not everything is 100% perfect, or that maybe some areas could be improved upon slightly, remember that this was made by such a very small team that I can't help but praise them for what they have done here in creating this game with its graphics from nothingness. With Neoverse's environments, I would have to say that this part is possibly the aspect of the game which maybe could have used a little more polish and focus on. Since this is a card stacking type game, you're not exactly going to be going around platforming your way through location to location or anything like that, but instead you are stationary in one single location. As a result of this, you're positioned in such a small environment with a limited amount of camera control and viewpoint options that when you pan out and you have a look at what's around you, you realise just how limited or bland some of the locations can look or feel. Some locations are actually rather nice and have a lot of detail in them, be it from what's around them, what's in the foreground, or what's in front of you. However, other locations, such as the hidden base area, just come across as if it's one single area that's been made, and then it's been rotated at different angles for different battles to kind of look different. So with the game's environments, it really is a case of hit and miss. If you are curious about Neoverse and are wondering if it's something that you might like, especially if indeed this is something which you may never have played before, then I would have to say that yes, this is definitely worth a purchase and I do recommend it. This is a highly enjoyable game which I really would recommend because it is quite fun and very addictive. The game, whilst hard, is also rather a lot of fun, and while I personally am not a fan of these type of games, I actually found myself really enjoying this one. I found it addictive, frustrating, it constantly kept me on my toes, and I just found it enjoyable, which is almost something that a lot of other games in today's era sadly seem to have forgotten, to just be about being fun. So, if you want something that's going to take you a while to learn and to master, that's got a lot for you to unlock, and which will constantly surprise you by what's coming next, then give Neoverse a try. Well, that's it for this review guys, thank you for listening, thank you for watching, and please subscribe.